Hello and welcome to another Hardcore Nuzlocke. Today I want to attempt a run of Pokemon Platinum using only bug types. I know you guys enjoy bug type only runs because they tend to do very well on the channel, and this is the fourth one that we've done. We did a bug only run of Fire Red, of Emerald, and Heart Gold. As a matter of fact, Heart Gold's run was just a couple episodes ago. I hope this video does well. I hope you guys enjoy it. Generation 4 brings us an updated moveset. We get some new bug type moves, we have some very unique encounters, the physical special split. There's a lot going on in this generation. New held items, berries, it's just fun. This game, however, has its own set of challenges with our encounters. Now, looking at this list of potential encounters, it would seem as though we have quite a few to choose from, but in actuality, we don't. There's actually only 7 encounters that we can find in this game without the aid of other games. We also have the species clause, so Caterpie and Metapod, we can't find one of each, we could only capture one. The same thing is true with Weedle Kakuna, so on and so forth. The way it all works out is if we wanted to catch the Caterpie or Metapod line, we could only do it if we had a copy of Fire Red inserted into the Game Boy Advance slot of our Nintendo DS. On Route 204, you can find a Caterpie, and Eterna Forest, you can find Caterpie and Metapod. Weedle is the same thing, same places. The only difference is you would have to have a copy of Leaf Green. Pineco can be found on Route 203 with a copy of Emerald inserted into your Game Boy Advance slot. Paris is a Pokemon we can catch in the Great Marsh, but we can only find it if we see it in the binoculars, and that takes a whole thing that I don't want to get into. The last 2 potential encounters that we're not going to get are post-game, and that is Nincada. If we have the Poke Radar, we could actually find it in Eterna Forest, but that is post-game. And Anorith is from the Claw Fossil that we can get in the Underground, but it's only post-game. So that leaves us with only a few encounters. We can get our hands on a Kricketot on Route 201, a Wurmple on Route 204, Scyther on Route 210 or 215, and then we get to deal with some honey trees for Heracross, Combee, and Burmy. We then have a choice in the Great Marsh of either a Yanma or Skorupi. I think I said that name right, I don't know. But those are our 7 encounters. Technically, we could get a Cascoon or Silcoon in the Eterna Forest, but that's a species clause thing that's very vague, and we played with both evolutionary lines in Pokemon Emerald, so in this run, I think we're just going to stick to one line. I named the rival algorithm. Shouldn't be any surprise. We're trying to beat the algorithm both in-game and in real life. If you guys want to help me beat the algorithm in real life, you can do so by liking the video, commenting on the video, subscribing to the channel, anything that tells YouTube, hey, this guy's kind of okay. He's not real funny. He doesn't do real good. His runs are okay. He does win them. Explains stuff. Talks too much. Doesn't play the game. I don't know. I don't know what's drawing you back every week, but I'm glad you're here. I do try to have a more laid-back style. We're not so crazy up in the air, but I'm having fun doing these runs, and the constant support is great. Be sure to check if you're subscribed, though. I know a lot of you keep coming back every week, and a fair few of you are still not subscribed to the channel. On another note, do you guys know that I have a Discord? Check the description down below. I used to do a bunch of Minecraft videos. I've been putting up videos on YouTube for like 6 years. We've kind of switched because I've gotten burned out of Minecraft. But all that stuff is still there, and I'm slowly evolving it into the Pokemon stuff. So if you guys want to come over and talk about Pokemon or Minecraft or video games in general, it's all an open place that we can chit-chat about video games and things that we hold near and dear to our hearts. Oh, blessed be, thank the heavens that Dawn was there to take me 1, 2, 3, 4 steps to the front door of the lab. If it wasn't for you, surely this journey would be lost. We would have never found our way. The tutorial section of this game, everything that we have to do in the unskippable dialogue, like what we're going through right now, is just amazing in Pokemon Platinum. These runs take so long, they drag on for so long. Like this right here, we're talking to the professor, oh, our Pokemon seems happy, blah, blah, blah. I hope you think that, because it's going in the box very, very soon. But he wants to talk about the Pokedex and yada yada yada, and if you tell him that you don't want to help and you just want to go out on an adventure, he thinks he's more stubborn than you, and that he'll just sit here and wait for you to say the right answer. They did this in Heart Gold and Soul Silver too with like the Dragon's Den stuff. It's just crazy the amount of unskippable dialogue, and it's still predominant. In Scarlet and Violet, there is tutorial sections and stuff like this that you can't skip. They should have like a New Game Plus where we could just skip all this stuff and get to the run. I should probably skip all this and get to the run. Do you ever notice, like, this house has got a bottom floor, it's got a kitchen, it's got a stairwell to go upstairs to my bedroom, but the one thing that is not in this house, besides a place for my mom to sleep, is the bathroom. There's no bathroom in this house. These two houses are exactly identical to the other two, just swapped. There's no bathrooms in any place. Pokemarts, Pokecenters. You think they're just using the tall grass? Where the Pokemon live? So after sifting through the Poke Universe's toilet, I find a fitting Pokemon in Kricketot on Route 201 that I name Apoc. Nothing matters except for the fact that this thing has Bide. I have to train this thing with Bide to level 10 to where it evolves into Kricketune learning Fury Cutter because there are mandatory trainer battles on Route 202. This is gonna suck. I really hope I don't wipe. With the Pokemon thing, not the toilet thing. We have to pay a lot of attention when doing these battles. Wiping is not an option. Again, the Pokemon thing, not the toilet thing. We can only get through one battle before we have to run back to the Pokemon Center. We have to pay very close attention because if the Pokemon takes us too low, we've got to evacuate. Again, the Pokemon thing, not the toilet thing. And the best part is, once we do evolve into a Kricketune, it's not much better. I can fight Shinx in this area, and we can battle them and continuously battle them to bump up our EVs and attack, making Fury Cutter a little bit of a stronger move. Now, where I'm sat in the grass right now is where I spent my time grind training Bide because I wasn't faster than the Pokemon and I couldn't run away from a battle, so I'd have to do one battle and go to the Pokemon Center. Right now, we're going to do some EV training and march forward. On Route 204, I catch a Wurmple named Cypher. It has a modest plus special attack minus attack nature. That's awesome. This thing better evolve into a Silcoon or I'm going to have to restart this whole run over again. We're going to do some EV training on the Badoos and see what happens. This is the moment of truth. We're taking out a Badoo to get to level 7. Badoos give special attack EVs, which is really nice. We're gaining some good stats. We will eventually. Please evolve into a Silcoon. Please, that's a Silcoon. That's a Silcoon. Oh, that's a Silcoon, baby. I can tell. I can tell. Okay, I was right. Nice. Immediately leaving Jubilife on Route 203, we have a battle with Algo. This battle is not that hard because we get hit the first turn, and then after that, Starly decides it wants to use Growls until we knock it out. After that, Chimchar comes out and decides it doesn't want to attack us, and we've built up enough Fury Cutters that we can take it out relatively quickly. On Route 207, we catch a Machop, and I know you're sat there going, but that's not a bug type. I just hold that thought. Inside a house at Orberg, we can trade the Machop for an Abra. But Zap, Abra's not a bug type. I know, just it's not the Pokemon that we're getting that is important. Kaza's great, sure, but Kaza has an item. Kaza has an Oranberry. Now, Cypher has Absorb and could take out the Geodude and the Onix because of their quad weakness. We will not take out the Cranidos, and we are quad weak to Rock, so Cypher is not the play. The play is Apoc, Fury Cutter, Oranberry. We need Fury Cutter not to miss, and if all of that works, we win. Geodude sets up a Stealth Rock on turn 1 as we got off a weak Fury Cutter. Turn 2, Fury Cutter starts building up a little bit of momentum, and Geodude hits us with a Rock Throw. The Rock Throw does 18 HP of damage. That Oranberry is very important because 18 and 18 is 36. We cannot tank 2 more hits. We get hit with another Rock Throw after taking Geodude below half health, and the Oranberry brings us back up to 23 HP. We take out the Geodude with one more Fury Cutter, and that brings in the Onyx. Now, Onyx is a little more bulky, so we fire off a Fury Cutter, and it doesn't quite KO. Deep into the red, and we get hit with that last Rock Throw, down to 14 HP. Rourke then goes for a potion. It doesn't matter. Apoc is seeing blood and takes out the Rock Snake with another Fury Cutter. Out comes Cranidos. The other thing we have to do is outspeed this thing, which we should. We fire off a Fury Cutter. We outspeed. It lands. That's it. Bye-bye, Rourke. Badge number 1 in the pocket. The next thing that we have to do in Pokemon Platinum that is just my favorite thing, and I wish I could do it in every single game, is slather honey on trees. There are a couple of trees that we can get to immediately. The one here in the Flow Aroma Meadow, that's the place it's called. And then we can go to Route 205, and there is another honey tree here. Actually, this one's blocked. We have to do the Valley Windworks stuff first. So there's another one by the Valley Windworks, which is going to give us 2 more encounters before we have to take on Commander Mars. Unfortunately, we have to wait around for 6 hours before these trees will produce a Pokemon, and it's not necessarily they'll produce what we want. We don't have to sit here for 6 hours. We just have to wait for 6 hours and come back to the tree. So I'm going to go away and wait. Oh shit! That's a female Combi, the little triangle on its head. Oh, and it has the female symbol. Calm down, calm down. We got to catch the Pokemon. I have never used a Vespiquen. This is the first tree I'm checking after being away for 6 hours. 7 hours? I went to bed and woke up early in the morning to check these trees. I can't believe it's a female Combi. That's amazing. I have been searching for one of these in Legends Arceus Shiny. I don't even want to talk about it. We have to catch this thing. Luckily, we have Absorb. We have a few Pokeballs. We have Stun Spore. Eventually, we do whittle this thing down enough that we throw a Pokeball at it and we catch it. Nice. We name it Trinity. It has a lonely plus attack minus defense nature. We caught this one outside of the Valley Windworks. And can you guys guess the theme of the Pokemon? Apoc, Trinity, Cypher. We managed to find a female Burmy named Switch. It has a naughty plus attack minus special defense nature. That's amazing because we can use Wormadam. I don't know how the different cloaks work. Trash, grass, sandy. I'm going to have to do some quick research. I was fully expecting this thing to be male and using a Mothim for the rest of the game. So what I've gathered, we've still got our grass cloak here, is it just depends on where we're at. If we're in tall grass, it's going to be the grass cloak. If we're on a beach or a cave, it turns into the sand cloak. And if we're inside of a building, it changes into a trash cloak. We don't have to battle with it. We just have to have it in the battle. And then we can immediately swap it out like we just did with Apoc here. And then we should be able to beat this Zubat. And we should have a trash cloak Burmy at this point. We do. Look at that. That's amazing. I really want to get this thing evolved into a Wormadam so that it keeps its cloak. And that's exactly what we did. We leveled this thing up and we fought the next Galactic guy. And we evolved it into a Trash Cloak Wormadam. Awesome. I can't believe it. That wasn't that hard. Against Commander Mars, I do lead with Apoc. Apoc is slowly phasing itself out where it's not very good. We're just going to use Fury Cutter to take out the Zubat. The Zubat hits us with a bite. And because I didn't really heal my Pokemon before I went into this battle, we start taking too much damage. And so I swap Apoc out for Switch. Zubat can't poison us. None of its moves are very effective against us, so we can just trade some Bug Bites and some bites back and forth until the Purugly comes out. Purugly does hit us with Fake Out on the first turn for some chip damage, which is no big deal. We then start trading attacks back and forth. Feint Attack isn't going to do any damage. Bite doesn't hardly do any damage. Also, with Bug Bite, we're going to steal the Oran Berry from Purugly and heal back some health. How great isn't that move? That's just one of the moves that came in Generation 4 that's awesome. After some back and forth, we eventually take out the Purugly, winning a very easy Commander Mars battle. Many hours later, We finally get ourselves a Heracross named Neo with a serious neutral nature. It also has the ability Guts. That's amazing. I would have taken Swarm at this point. I would have just taken any Neo, any Heracross at this point. We are at 34 hours of game time. I did do some EV training and stuff on some of these Pokemon. My eyes are kind of crisscrossed right now. We found a bunch of male Combees and male Burmese and stuff like that. We finally got Heracross, and Heracross is the key to this run. There's a reason that we named it Neo, the One. As stated before, technically, if we wanted to, in Eterna Forest, we could catch this Cascoon and evolve it into a Dustox, and then we would have an 8th encounter. But I already have what I wanted. Dustox really is, well, a turd, let's be honest. So we're going to stick with Beautifly, and I'm not really going to worry about this Pokemon. This guy promises to take me underground for some candy. I think it's safe. What do you guys think? I'm getting candy with this old guy. Mom said not to get in any strangers' vans. She said nothing about going spelunking with some old dude for candy. The plan for Gardenia is pretty simple. We're going to lead with Cypher. It has a stab, super effective move, and Gust. We quad resist grass moves. It's a foolproof plan. Turtwig comes out. We hit it with a Gust, and it is enough for a clean one-shot. Out comes Cherim. We hit it with a Gust. Deep into the red health. Cherim just goes for Safeguard. Interesting. It's at this point that Gardenia uses a Super Potion to fully heal the Cherim. We get off a back-to-back Gust to take it out. Roserade comes out and outspeeds us to hit us with a Magical Leaf that doesn't do much damage. Again, we quad resist grass. We fire off a Gust that does well over half, but Roserade's Citrus Berry activates. We get hit with another Magical Leaf. It again doesn't do that much damage. We hit another Gust deep into the red with a sliver of health. Roserade hangs on. Roserade switches up its tactics and decides to go for Grass Knot, which does even less damage, and we take it out with a final Gust, winning us the second gym badge. Next up is Commander Jupiter. We lead with Switch because Switch has learned the move Confusion, and Confusion cleanly one-shots the Zubat. Out comes Skunk Tank, who hits us with a Smokescreen, which is annoying, but we fire off a Bug Bite that steals its Citrus Berry. Doesn't heal us up because we haven't taken any damage. We get hit with another Smokescreen and fire off a Bug Bite. It's at this point that we get hit with a third Smokescreen and we start missing attacks. So what I do is I swap into Neo. We get hit with a Night Slash on the swap, which isn't very effective, and we take out the Skunk Tank with a Brick Break. The storyline of Pokemon Platinum is truly amazing. There are so many things going on, and it's so crazy. Meeting all these random strangers in the middle of mountains. It's real dark and damp. Old dude just gave me candy. I don't know what's going on. Mom? But you said you were... Wow. Double life? I can't believe it. Liar! What's even more crazy, all joking aside, is the game makes you come to this place. And then you talk to your mom, she gives you a bunch of stuff, wants you to dress up, whatever, do the contest, but what it doesn't tell you is that Fantina is sitting right there to the right. And we have to go talk to her, or we can't do the third gym. I have a foolproof plan with absolutely zero room for error against Fantina. Her Duskull always goes for Will-O-Wisp, so I lead with Neo. We outspeed it to hit it with an Aerial Ace for well over half of its health, and Duskull goes for Future Sight. There's the hole in my plan. We KO it with another Aerial Ace. Out comes Haunter. We do some serious damage with Aerial Ace, and it retaliates by putting us to sleep with a Hypnosis. But we were prepared for your shenanigans because we wake up with a Chesto Berry, fire off another Aerial Ace after taking the Future Sight, and KO the Haunter. Out comes Miss Magius, and I decide it's time to swap, because Miss Magius does have Psybeam, so I swap into Switch, who gets confused on the Switch. Annoyingly, we get hit with a resisted Shadow Ball, and we break through Confusion to hit a hidden power, which happens to be Ghost. I figured that out in Eterna Forest battling Banneries. Crazy. Miss Magius does heal up with a Citrus Berry. We get hit with another Shadow Ball, This time it gets the special defense drop, which is annoying, and we hurt ourselves in confusion. Triple threat. So I decide to swap back into Neo on a resisted Shadow Ball. I go for an Aerial Ace that does a serious amount of damage, and Mismagius confuses us, so I swap back into Switch. Mismagius hits us with a Psybeam on the swap, which was predicted. It's resisted, however. We get outsped, and hit with a Shadow Ball, and we KO the Mismagius with a Hidden Power. I'm leaving the speed sped in there, it doesn't matter. Moving on, that's 3 gems. Immediately leaving Hearthome, we have a rival battle with Algorithm. He leads with his Staravia, and I lead with Trinity. I was prepared for this battle, however, I need to come up with a better strategy. Staravia goes for Double Team, and we go for Power Gem. Power Gem is enough to knock out the Staravia, but that isn't going to always be the case. Out comes Monferno, and I swap into Neo. This is where I need to come up with a better strategy, because Monferno hits us with a very strong Flame Wheel on the swap. We outspeed and one-shot it with a Aerial Ace, but again, we need a strategy. Out comes the Buizel. We hit it with a Brick Break to one-shot it, and last but not least is Roselia, which we just hit it with an Aerial Ace to knock it out. On Route 210, we catch ourselves a Scyther named Morpheus with an Adamant plus attack minus special attack nature. It also has the Technician ability, which boosts moves that have a base power of 60 or less. This thing is going to be a monster. I'm going to evolve it as soon as I can get the metal coat from Iron Island, however, because I've never used a Scyther, and Scyther is the key to beating Cynthia. Getting to Veilstone is amazing. We can go to the department store and buy TMs like Natural Gift, Protect, Reflect, Light Screen. We can get a coin case and start buying items like the Zoom Lens or the Metronome. We then have moves like Substitute, Swords Dance, Psychic, Flamethrower. They're all right here. We have to get coins for it, unfortunately, but we now have access to some really, really good TMs. So where do you think he's from? WWE, NXT, AEW, a luchador? Wake comes out singing his own song. He's got his own theme music. He's definitely a wrestler. He's cool, in my opinion. Just which franchise do you think he's from? The Maylene battle is so trivial that I didn't even write a note. I didn't write anything. I completely skipped it. We have Morpheus on the team, an Adamant plus attack nature Scyther with a stab super effective technician boosted wing attack. We completely one-shot the Metatite. We one-shot the Machoke, and Machoke does have Rock Tomb or Rock Throw to do some damage. Out comes Lucario. We don't take it out because of its steel typing, but we take it deep into the red health. Lucario just fires off a Metal Claw, and for whatever reason, Maylene decides it doesn't want to heal, and we take it out with a follow-up wing attack. That's why I didn't write anything down. In the Great Marsh, we have an option to catch Skorupi or Yanma. In Area 6 of the Great Marsh, we can find a Yanma. I'm not sure where to find Skorupi, but I don't want Skorupi because when it evolves into a Drapion, it doesn't keep its bug typing. Here is our Yanma named Oracle. It has a hardy neutral nature. It has the speed boost ability. Because of the elevated levels in Pokemon Platinum, we're actually going to be able to use this thing. Sorry, APOC. It's time for the box. For the battle with our rival outside of Crasher Wake's gym, I've developed a little bit better of a strategy. Trinity's still there to soak up the Intimidate, but while Staravia sets up double teams, I set up defend orders, raising my defense and special defense. I get off 3 defend orders and then try to start taking it out with Power Gem. Unfortunately, the first 2 miss. Staravia does hit us with a wing attack, and we one-shot it with a Power Gem. Monferno comes out, hits us with a Leer. Power Gem doesn't quite do half. We get hit with a Flame Wheel that doesn't do much. The next Flame Wheel does a lot of damage, but we take it out with a Power Gem. Out comes Buizel, and I swap into Cypher. We get hit with an Aqua Jet on the swap in, but a Mega Drain is enough to cleanly one-shot the Buizel. Last but not least is Roselia. I decide to go for Silver Wind. See how much it'll do. It does well over half. We get hit by a resisted Poison Sting and take it out. The plan for Wake is to steal the plan I had with Algorithm. Just instead of setting up to +3, we're going to set up to +6 with Trinity. Quagsire has Rock Tomb, Floatzel has Ice Fang. I want to set up and hopefully sweep them. The Intimidate does cut our attack, so attack order is going to do less damage, but it's a trade-off. Pressure is going to make the power points of a very strong move like Waterfall cut in half, which is amazing. So if we time our defense orders and our heal orders accordingly, we should be able to stay healthy. We get off a defend order, Gyarados does get off another Waterfall, and we get off a heal order. This starts the clock of us setting up to +6 with defend order and staying healthy with heal order. This is a 9-minute battle, but eventually we set up to +6, we heal, Gyarados hits us with a bite, and we fire off a power gem that does over half of Gyarados' health. I go for power gem again, but Wake throws a wrench in the plan, sending out Quagsire. It resists power gem, so it doesn't do much damage. I hit it with an attack order down to below half health, and he hits us with a Rock Tomb. We tank it very well because of the plus defense, but the speed drop is annoying. I fire off another attack order, and it's not enough to take out the Quagsire. Misses a Rock Tomb, and Crasher heals up with a Hyper Potion. We hit it with another attack order for about a third of its health. I hit it with another attack order down to a third of its health, and it hits us with a Rock Tomb, lowering our speed. That's annoying. Next turn, we get outsped and hit with a Yawn, which throws a wrench in the entirety of my plans. Attack order does take out the Quagsire, and Wake decides to send out Floatzel, who hits us with an Ice Fang. This is why we set up, though, because the Ice Fang doesn't do that much damage. I decide to fire off a Power Gem because of the minus attack, and I go to sleep. I do hope for an early wake-up, so I stay in and tank an Ice Fang, going for attack order. We stay asleep and tank a Brine. We stay asleep and take another Brine because I misclicked, and I ultimately decide to swap out into Switch. Switch can tank the Brines fairly well, but the reason I swapped her in was for the Bug Bite to steal the Citrus Berry to heal up. Wake then goes for its last Hyper Potion. I hit another Bug Bite. We get hit with a Brine down to below half health, and it's at this point that I need to swap out because Brine does more damage if you're at or below half health. We get hit with a Brine on the swap into Neo, and Neo cleanly takes out the Floatzel with a Brick Break, bringing in the Gyarados. Because of the Intimidate drop, I decide we swap out into Oracle. We just newly evolved this thing. It barely has any moves. We get hit with a Twister on the swap out. I just go for Ancient Power, which is a move learned at level 33 and the move needed to evolve Yanma. And we knock out the Gyarados. Team Galactive and Explosives. What more can you add to the story? This storyline is absolutely insane. And I mean, they actually do it. Boom! What? What is this storyline? Now I get to chase this guy down in his jammies, and he's got like a Croagunk of Pokemon. This is insane. The most powerful trainer in the Sinnoh region walks by. The person doesn't even bat an eye, wants to talk about folklore and the Leg Trio. Our rival comes up and starts talking about the Big Boom, and she still doesn't bat an eye. That is crazy. She wants to give me a secret potion for the Psyducks on Route 210. I'm really starting to think that you're part of a pharmaceutical company or a drug lord trying to peddle drugs to a kid. This is what the DARE program was talking to me about all them years ago. And tell me what the point of this damn potion was. I come here, give it to the Psyducks, they do their goofy little bye-bye, and then Cynthia comes. Why didn't you give him the potion? What? The roadblocks in the Pokemon universe are just awesome. I love it. And then we get to Celestic Town, and this person literally says, this town doesn't need to exist, and I'm gonna boom it. Unless you want to mess with me. You're a grown man telling a kid that if I don't stop you, you're gonna do some... This game is crazy. Just insane. I cannot believe it. Again, I said it from the beginning, the storyline of this game is so crazy, and all of this stuff is what we have to do to get through the game, and that's why some of these runs take so long. So many hours. Sure, Algo, I don't see a problem with battling you on a bridge. Nothing dangerous. We lead with Oracle against his newly evolved Star Raptor, and I fire off an Ancient Power that doesn't one-shot it, and it just goes for double team. We do get the speed boost, so we outspeed it and knock it out. Infernape comes out, and we hit it for very little damage, but we get the Omni boost just in time. We hit it with another Ancient Power, and we get burned from the Flame Wheel. We take it out with a follow-up Ancient Power. We level up. Heracross comes out, and we're down to 15 HP. I decide to swap into Morpheus. Morpheus swaps into a Horn Attack that does half damage, but I know a Wing Attack will cleanly one-shot the Heracross. Out comes Floatzel, so I swap into Cypher and get hit with a Pursuit, but it doesn't do a lot of damage. I go for Mega Drain after getting hit with an Aqua Jet, and I fully heal up my HP. We get hit with another Aqua Jet, Mega Drain takes out the Floatzel, out comes the Rose Raid, and we hit it with a Gust with a crit to KO. The last 3 gyms of this region can easily be soloed by Neo. He is the one. Against the lead Magneton, I go for Brick Break, and it is enough to cleanly one-shot the Magneton. Steelix is a ground steel type, so it doesn't take that much damage from Brick Break, but we still do half. Steelix decides to set up the sand. We KO it with a follow-up Brick Break. Out comes Bastiodon. Bastiodon is rock steel, so it's quad weak to Brick Break, and we one-shot it. That is the 6th gym badge in our pocket. More unskippable dialogue from the Professor and Dawn and Algo. We gotta go to the lakes, and we gotta da-da-da-da-da. It's amazing, again, the amount of stuff that we have to go through. Please, can we start making these games with a new Game Plus that allows for skippable dialogue? It'd be great. Game Freak, Nintendo. You know, you're too busy trying to shut down these emulators, Nintendo, instead of doing something about this. Anyway, Team Galactic, boom, the lakes, we gotta go. It's crazy. This is simultaneously some of the funniest stuff I've ever seen in a video game and the saddest. These Magikarp deserved a little bit better. Time for Candace. We made it all the way to Snow Point City. You know, magic, editing. And we're going to lead with Heracross. Her Sneasel is Dark Ice, so it goes down to a single Brick Break. Out comes Frostlass, and I taught Neo Night Slash at the Move Relearner in Pastoria City. I spent some time in the underground getting myself some heart scales. Frostlass doesn't go down to a Night Slash, but her berry does pull her out of healing range, which is awesome. She goes for double team, but Neo, being the one, doesn't care about that and fires off another Night Slash, knocking out the Frostlass. That means the rest of this battle is free. Pillow comes out, and we hit it with a Brick Break that cleanly one-shots it. And last but not least is Abomasnow, who we hit with an Aerial Ace. It hits us with a Wood Hammer. The recoil from the Wood Hammer puts this thing definitely in a range where we can take it out with a follow-up Aerial Ace, and that is the 7th gym badge. There is so much Team Galactic stuff. It is so annoying. We're in the HQ right now in Veilstone battling Cyrus. His team isn't so bad right now. It's a little bit annoying, but I am also slightly underleveled. And I can still take his team on. Crobat, super fast, super annoying. It's one of my favorite Pokemon. It's a great Pokemon. But after this, we have to do the Mount Coronet stuff. We have to go in the Distortion world. And when we battle him in the Distortion world, he is a very formidable foe. So I'm going to need to do some leveling and some preparing before I just jump into that battle.
Sub to my channel. It is commanded of you.
Giratina! Ah! This game is something else, man. It's on a whole other level. The battle with Cyrus in the Distortion world is something you need to be prepared for. We lead with Neo with Earthquake against the lead Houndoom, and we knock it out. Crobat has Air Cutter. It's going to outspeed us and use Toxic instead, so we activate Guts and one-shot it with Rock Slide. Insane. Honchkrow gets outsped and knocked out with Rock Slide. This is great. Out comes Gyarados to hit us with that Intimidate, which sucks. We don't one-shot it with Rock Slide, but we do flinch it, so we take it out with a follow-up Aerial Ace. We're sitting at about half health. We should be able to knock out the Weavile with a Brick Break, but it outspeeds us and drops us to 5 HP. That was very scary, but we beat it. What I want to really talk about, though, is when we came into the Distortion world, this is where we came. Right here onto this platform, I found the randomizer that has the fast Distortion world. There's nothing really to do other than push some boulders and stuff around. Somebody was asking if I had a link to this, and the reason I said no is because I didn't have a link to this randomizer specifically. So, I'm going to put a link to it in the description. If you don't see one, blow up the comment section, hit me up on Discord, something, I will put a link to it. As a matter of fact, I'll also link it in the Discord as well so you guys can download it. Now, the next thing that we need to do, besides walk forward there, is we got to battle Giratina. It is a Dragon Ghost type. It is one of my favorite designed Gen 4 Pokemon. It's kind of scary. We could battle it. We could try. We've been healed up. But I think it's better just to run. Seems legit. The 8th and final gym leader, Volkner. What can I say about him? He's a trainer that has electric type Pokemon. And we have Neo, who has Earthquake that we found in the Wayward Cave after we beat Gardenia. I have a Cherry Berry equipped just in case the Jolteon outsped us and hit us with a Thunder Wave, but we outsped it and we take it out with a Earthquake. Out comes Luxray. We hit it with an Earthquake and it doesn't quite take it out, but Luxray just whiffs a Fire Fang. Volkner then uses a Hyper Potion, so we hit it with another Earthquake back down into red health. We then outspeed it and take it out with an Aerial Ace. Out comes Electivire, who we cleanly one-shot with an Earthquake. And last but not least is Raichu, who we one-shot with an Earthquake. That was an intense 8th gym fight. We have a battle with Algorithm just before stepping into the Elite Four, and I wasn't going to leave anything up to chance. I elite this battle with Neo. He's pre-burned. I actually got burned from a Dust Noir in Victory Road, so this is perfect. The Intimidate does suck, but we are able to outspeed and one-shot the Staraptor with a Rock Slide. Out comes Monferno. We outspeed it and one-shot it with an Earthquake. Out comes Snorlax, and of course we outspeed this thing and we one-shot it with a Brick Break. It does take a minute for that health bar to tick down. Out comes Heracross, Mirror Match. We outspeed it and take it out with a Aerial Ace. Out next is Roserade, who we take out with a single Aerial Ace as well. And last but not least is Floatzel, who we take out with a single Brick Break. And that is the end of fighting our rival. We have beaten Algorithm in-game. It's time to take on our rival Bug Trainer Aaron, the first trainer of the Elite Four. He leads with the Yanmega, and I lead with Oracle. Oracle has been leveled up to where it's learned moves like Air Slash and Bug Buzz, making this thing a very viable member on the team. We outspeed and one-shot the Yanmega with an Air Slash. Vespiquen goes down to a single Air Slash as well. Drapion comes out, and that is not a Bug-type Pokemon, so I fire off a Bug Buzz, and it does well over half. Drapion heals up with a Citrus Berry and misses an Ice Fang. I take it out with a follow-up Air Slash. Out comes Heracross, who we outspeed and one-shot with an Air Slash. Speed boost is really coming in clutch. And out comes Scizor. We hit it with an Air Slash for well over half of its health, and it hits us with a pretty weak Iron Head. We managed to take it out with one more Air Slash. For Bertha's ground types, she leads with Whiscash, and I lead with Cypher. Cypher now has Giga Drain. Whiscash is quad weak to grass, so we take it out with a single Giga Drain. Out comes Golem. Golem too goes down to a single Giga Drain. I am holding a Charty Berry just in case we get hit with a rock type move. Out comes Rhyperior, and surprisingly it goes down to a single Giga Drain as well. Gliscor comes out next, and I know this thing won't go down to a Giga Drain, so it hits us with a Thunder Fang because it outspeeds us, and I am fishing for an Omni Boost with Ominous Wind. We don't get it, and Gliscor hits us with a Fire Fang down to 22 HP. I fire back with a fairly strong Giga Drain and decide then to swap into Trinity, who is also holding a Charty Berry, but Gliscor doesn't have any rock moves. We swap in on a Thunder Fang. We get hit with a second Thunder Fang that paralyzes, but we break through the paralysis to get an attack order that knocks out the Gliscor, and out comes Hippowdon. Hippowdon sets up the Sandstorm as soon as it comes in, and anticipating a Stone Edge, I swap into Switch. We do get hit with a Stone Edge on the swap in, and anticipating an Earthquake, I swap into Neo, who does in fact get hit with an Earthquake. We then fire back with a Guts boosted Brick Break that does well over half of Hippowdon's health, and it hits us with a fairly weak Stone Edge. After everything's all said and done, we're sitting at 25 HP as we fire off one more Brick Break to take down the Hippowdon, winning us the second Elite Four battle. Next is Flint, and what can I say about Flint besides the fact that he actually has Fire-type Pokemon in Platinum? But I have a pre-burned Guts-boosted Neo with a super effective Earthquake, and I'm holding the Soft Sand, so we one-shot the Houndoom. We one-shot the Flareon. We one-shot the Rapidash. We one-shot the Magmortar. And we one-shot the Infernape. Bye-bye, Flint. Lucian is the first Elite Four member to give us a run for our money because I decided to start with Vespiquen. As I started the battle, I realized Vespiquen's not going to outspeed the Mr. Mime. Mr. Mime's going to set up a Reflect, which is going to put a damper in my plans, so I need to set up defense orders. Mr. Mime does set up a Reflect turn 1, I set up a defense order. Turn 2, Mr. Mime sets up a light screen, I set up a defend order, and then after that, Mr. Mime starts firing off Thunderbolts that I didn't realize it had because I didn't look this far into the game. I'm stuck with the plan though. I'm going to stick by it. We set up defend orders until we're at +5, taking Thunderbolts to the face. We're sitting at 57 HP, and rather than setting up a heal order, I send off an attack order that cleanly one-shots the Mr. Mime, albeit it was a critical hit. Out comes Gallade. I am holding a Charty Berry. I really don't need Trinity in the next fight. I decide to stay in and tank a Stone Edge to the face, which lands me on 23 HP. I go unpunished, and attack order surprisingly does a lot of damage to Gallade, taking it to just under half health. The Citrus Berry pulls it out of a 2-shot range, and also we're slower, so I swap into Switch. Switch gets hit with a pretty nasty Stone Edge on the swap. We get hit with another Stone Edge down to 47 HP before firing off a very weak Shadow Ball to middle yellow health. I need to swap, so I decide to swap into Morpheus, who can tank the Stone Edge, which it does swimmingly. We outspeed and take out the Gallade with an Exciser. Out comes Alakazam. I didn't realize this thing had Focus Punch, or Focus Blast. It misses Focus Blast, because that's why everybody calls it Focus Miss, and we knock it out with an Exciser. Out comes Espeon, who does outspeed us and hit us with a pretty decent Psychic. We take it out with a single Exciser, and last but not least is Bronzong. I know it has Earthquake, so I swap into Cypher, who dodges the Earthquake. I fire off an Ominous Wind, fishing for that Omni Boost. It does half of Bronzong's health, but it was a critical hit. Bronzong decides to set up a Calm Mind. I decide to go for Bug Buzz on the next turn, thinking it's going to do more damage, and it leaves it deep in the red health. Bronzong then fires off a +1 Psychic that does insane amount of damage to Cypher. Being that we haven't lost a Pokemon yet, I decide it's time to swap. I swap in Oracle as Lucian goes for a full restore. We fire off a Bug Buzz down to just about half health, and Bronzong goes for another Calm Mind. I then hit it with another Bug Buzz down to low yellow health, and Bronzong fires off a +2 Psychic that takes us all the way to 58 HP, but that is the end of the battle. We fire off one more Bug Buzz, winning us the Elite Four. It is time to take on the champion. There is absolutely nothing on my team that can outspeed the Garchomp, and nothing is going to survive it. Oracle might be able to with the speed boost, but it won't be able to outlive it for very long. So the plan has always been Morpheus. Morpheus knows Exciser, Roost, Agility, and Swords Dance. We're going to set up to +6 with Swords Dance. We're going to set up to +4 with Agility. We're going to keep healthy with Roost. And we're going to take out the entirety of Cynthia's team. She's regarded as one of the hardest Pokemon trainers because of her non-monotype team. Plus she has some serious bulk. speed, the whole 9 yards. Every move that Spirit Tomb has is resisted, but we do need some cooperation from RNGesus. If Shadow Ball gets the special defense drop, it's not the end of the world, it's just going to make this a little bit longer of a process. I should be able to set up all 3 Swords Dances and then heal up with Roost, set up both of my agilities, and then heal up with Roost twice. Again, we're going to be down kind of low in health, but as long as we don't get the special defense drops, we should be fine. If we do, it's just going to take more times of Roost. The other things that I need to cooperate is I really need Spirit Tomb to stop using Shadow Ball and use Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse does just a little bit less damage. This way we have optimal health for the Lucario. The Lucario is not going to go down in one hit, and it's going to hit us with a neutral Aura Sphere. Because it's not a super effective move, we can't hold a berry, so instead I am holding an Insect Plate, which I got in the Underground. Now that we have set up to +6 with Swords Dance, and we have set up to +4 with Agility, it is time for me to start healing up. I go for Roost, it doesn't quite take us to full health, and we get hit with another Shadow Ball. I go for Roost again, and this time we get hit with a Dark Pulse. Wonderful. We can now click Exciser and watch the Spirit Tomb's health slowly tick away. It's at this point in the run where my heart goes from my chest to my throat, because the Garchomp is out next. We outspeed the Garchomp, we hit an Exciser, and we watch its health slowly tick down. We've done it. We beat the Garchomp. Amazing, but we're not out of the woods yet. Out next is Lucario. We fire off an Exciser that takes it deep into the yellow health, but it fires back with an Aura Sphere that does a massive amount of damage down to 64 HP. Cynthia then heals with a full restore. I go for Exciser, and because we outspeed, we can get a second Exciser to knock out the Lucario. Out comes Togekiss, and I decide we need to heal. I don't know if we'll one-shot this, so let's gain back some health just in case. We heal almost up to full health, and Togekiss too has Aura Sphere. It hits us with an Aura Sphere. I go for Roost again, and Togekiss hits us with an Air Slash. Air Slash does a lot of damage because it's stab. I then decide to go for Exciser because we're not out healing this thing. And I managed to one-shot the Togekiss. Amazing. That is it. That is the end of the run. We have beaten Cynthia. I know she has 2 more Pokemon, but it doesn't matter. As Melodic comes out, I go for Roost just in case of a critical hit and I don't one-shot things. We get hit with a Surf that does a significant amount of damage, so I go for Exciser and I one-shot the Melodic. Last but not least is her Roserade. Everything that her Roserade has, we either resist or are immune to. We can't get hit with poison moves. We're immune. We can't get hit very hard with grass moves, so I heal up just in case something crazy happens, because you just never know. My heart is sitting in my throat to where I can't hardly talk as we get hit with extrasensory. And it crits. This is why I healed up just in case, because Exciser is not a super effective move against a grass poison type, but it is neutral and it does one-shot. That is it. That is the end of the run. We have done it. No deaths. Attempt 1. Bug types. Oh my goodness. I mean, that in and of itself deserves an applaud and a sub. This is an amazing feat, and these bug types are amazing. Again, we could have went to red on our Heart Gold run, but as the credits roll at the end of the league, that is the end of the game. I don't do any post-game stuff with Steven Stone in Emerald. I don't do any of the post-game stuff in Fire Red. It's the end of the game. We have made it to the end of this game with just our team of 6 Pokemon. Apoc is sitting back in the box. He never did faint. We never did lose a single Pokemon. And bug types are fun. A lot of these bug types learn different moves. We had some insane coverage with Pokemon like Cypher and Neo. The whole team was great. Trinity and Switch were the two least used Pokemon, but they still had their place. And if you haven't guessed by now, Neo, Trinity, Morpheus, Apoc, they're all characters from the first Matrix movie. Matrix movies, doesn't matter, that's what they are. I hope you guys enjoyed this run. I had so much fun doing it, as I do with all the runs. Every time I do a run, it's fun. I've only ever had one run that wasn't fun, and that was the fighting type run of Pokemon Emerald, and I'm going back and forth of doing a poison only type run of Emerald. I'm not going to do it just yet, because I'm still strategizing for how the heck we're going to beat Tate and Liza. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to start planning our next run out. Hopefully I can get this thing edited. My work week has been crazy. It is actually Tuesday. I've been able to record all of my episode on Monday. I was able to do all of the voiceover on Tuesday, but Wednesday I'm driving home, Thursday work, Friday I got a bunch of stuff for work, Saturday, Sunday driving to Louisiana. Somewhere in there I've got to try to fit editing. So wish me luck. Even though I'm 4 days ahead of schedule right now, this video might not come out on time. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, leave a comment, consider subscribing if you're new or returning to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.